All right, so we have some big news, some good news here on Live Impact News. So I just want to rewind back several months ago. So we had a man on who needed a kidney donor, and he happens to be the president of Livingstone College in Salisbury, in our area. It's a national campaign. It picked up steam, and recently he was able to find a match. And we have him back here on the program on Live Impact News, Dr. Anthony Davis. Dr. Davis, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I love what you guys do with your Impact News. Love it.
And give you another compliment. I love what you've been able to do. Bringing awareness to kidney disease, something that's not talked about enough within the Black community. But we'll start back months ago. We did this interview. We were talking about this campaign to find a donor. At the time, what was going on? Because you made that announcement during graduation, during commencement, during graduation. What was happening in your life at the time?
I was suffering in silence. I was suffering in silence. I would have on what I call the mask, right? I'm still who I am, but I had a mask on. I was traveling all over the country, recruiting students. I was raising money for Livingstone College. I was managing refurbishment projects on campus. Nobody knew how sick I was. And then I would go home 12 hours a night, just, for the most part, just collapsing in a chair and then getting on a machine for 42.5% of my day spent on a dialysis machine. I do peritoneal dialysis. But yet my family and members of a committee came to me, cornered me in my office. And when they did, they said, you need to let the world know what you're going through. We need to advocate for you and find you a donor. Because, I'm being seen at Duke, and Duke dialysis told me, hey, you need to find a kidney donor. But if you don't find one on your own, it'll probably take 7 years for your blood type to come up to find you a match. Wow. So I just couldn't think about going through what I was going through and be able to continue doing what I'm doing for the students and the families that I serve without getting a donor. And at commencement, I made the announcement to the world, hey, I need a kidney. Keep me in your prayers, but we're launching this I Need a Match campaign. Be My Match campaign, excuse me. And man, the outpouring of support, the links, the AKs, my faculty, my staff, they had events and activities trying to find someone who was O positive, willing to make the contribution. And for that, I am so grateful.
You suffer in silence. I feel like that's a lot of Black men. We suffer in silence. Yeah. How hard was that to get down to the point to say, I need help? I find myself, and I learned from that interview that we did months ago, because I learned, it's okay to ask for help, but I know as Black men, that is a tough thing to do, is to ask for help. How hard was that?
One of the hardest things I had to do in my life, because first of all, it was during commencement. And if most people remember the day, I got to the very last action in our commencement ceremony before I did it, because I had made up my mind that I wasn't going to do it. I had stage fright, right? I wasn't going to do it. And then at the very end, right before we sang the alma mater, after I gave my graduates their charge, I said, and they turned their tassel, commencement was over, we're getting ready to recess. And I said, before we go, I said, I need your help. And I'm glad I did, because when that article or when that announcement went public, there were people from all over the country who responded to the call. So much so that I'm going to transplant next week because of that announcement. Because what happened was I was being worked up at Duke, and I was told, hey, go ahead and, register with other centers so, if something happens to someone in that region, you can get the call. So I said, okay. I had scheduled an appointment with Atrium in Winston-Salem, but that wasn't until August. So I made, that's June, July, right? June, I made the appointment. Someone walked in off the street before I was even registered there and carried an article that said, I want to donate to him. They didn't know who him was. They looked up Anthony Davis. There were hundreds of Anthony Davis in the National Kidney Registry. And they said, well, just go ahead and work them up. They worked them up, and then I come in August. They work me up and get me ready for transplant. And I go through all of the tests, all of the diagnostic tests, all of the compatibility matching. And it just so happened the person who walked in off the street who said, I want to donate to him, happens to be a 100% compatibility match. And they decided to take me to surgery on November the 13th. What an amazing God I serve.
When did you get that call? And when you got that call, what were the emotions that you were going through?
I got that call about a month ago, not even a month ago.
Oh, wow, okay.
Less than a month ago. It was a recent call. I didn't believe it at first. At first, don't laugh because it's gonna be funny. At first, I thought it was a bad dream. At first, I thought the narcotics that I was taking for the pain had me in another zone because I'm saying they told me 7 years, and they told me I received a phone call. What happened was, this is funny. I received a phone call. I'm recuperating from another procedure. I'm resting. I answer the phone, and when I answer the phone, and they said this is Atrium, Winston-Salem. I said, okay. And I hung up. My wife said, there's a missed call from Atrium. I said, no, I answered it. She said, what'd they say? I said, I don't remember. I don't remember what they said. So when I called them back, they said, we didn't call you, but you're scheduled for surgery on November the 13th. I said, nah, no. So my wife, who has been my ride or die through this whole process, making sure I don't miss an appointment, making sure I'm presentable when I leave the house. Hey, she's done it all. Guess what? She said, I'm going to call. And she called after staying on hold. They said, yeah, he's scheduled to go to surgery on November the 13th. And then the formal letter came. And I'm just excited, man. That someone would think enough of me to do that, man.
Are there any nerves? Are there and what is that recovery process after the surgery? Do you know that?
Well, what they've shared is that, well, let me say this. It is a complex, it is a serious surgery, but it's not very difficult. They're connecting, two arteries in, your ureter, right? It's not that hard. From what I hear, and I have friends, my line brother from Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, he went through it, and he told me, he said, listen, I'll talk you through it. He said, they're going to have you up the next day. He said, you're going to be sore, but it won't be nothing unbearable. So you take that. The hardest part, from what I'm hearing, is making sure your body doesn't reject it. So it's that window where you have to take those anti-rejection meds to make sure that the kidney stays with you and it's compatible, because your body knows that this is a foreign object and it tries to fight it. So you have to take those anti-rejection drugs. And so I'm prepared to do that.
Oh, man. Your story is so inspiring. It gives me hope. Man, a lot of every time, the past couple of times I talk to you, it's just you just feel something, I'm happy for you. This couldn't come at a better time. I mean, you talk about the holiday, you talking about the ultimate gift right here, life. As we enter the holiday season, before I let you go, and you've been so generous with your time, and I know you can't wait to after the recovery process that you really get back on the job. But I guess what this holiday season, what is this having this, and what is this holiday season going to mean for you and your family?
When you think about this holiday season, I don't think it's by accident that Thanksgiving comes first. We give thanks. I'm so thankful to have the family network to step up for me, right? You don't know how many people have said, hey, Doc, I've been praying for you. I'm praying for you. I'm still praying for you. I like to believe that in heaven, they worried God on my behalf, so much so they said, let me go ahead and get this over with. Let's take him to surgery on November the 13th. I believe that. But when I think about Christmas, right, Jesus is the reason for the season. It's about God giving the greatest gift of all. And I'm going to be very, very thankful not only for that gift, but I want to thank the anonymous donor who's given me a kidney. I don't know who the donor is. At least at this date, I don't know. But I just want them to know that I'm expressing my gratitude. Thank you for saving my life and give me an opportunity to regain my quality of life so I can get back in the business of making sure that students have access to education and be able to leave my institution ready to compete and contribute in a global context with competence and confidence. I'm committed to making sure that happens. So thank you.
Dr. Davis, again, I want to thank you for bringing awareness, for sharing your story, for being, having the courage and being brave enough to do that. That is not an easy thing to do. I'll be praying for you. And as soon as you get back on your feet, settle. I know everybody, you got a lot of responsibilities, but I want to see you here in person here on Live Impact News. I want you here in studio.
I'll be there. Okay.
We'll check in with you, Dr. Davis. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.